Good morning, everyone. Can you believe it? It's September 1st, 2021. We have Labor Weekend coming ahead of us, so that means that our summer of 2021 is coming to an end. We count summers here in the city of Monterey with respect to various tasks that we are doing between public works and parks and recreation and other groups in the city between Memorial Day and Labor Day. So Labor Day marks for us an end of a certain season that spans basically 2 budget years, the end of the previous budget year and the coming of the next budget year. Let me start with some COVID-19 updates. You know that we are still challenged by COVID-19, especially the Delta variant, and especially there the number of folks that have been not vaccinated. We can see an increase in hospitalizations here on the Monterey Peninsula. I think yesterday in the community hospital of the Monterey Peninsula, we had 21 patients. That's the highest number I've seen over the past 6-8 months or so. And I believe 3 of them were in the ICU. We see that increase also in the 2 Salinas hospitals, and I think the Me Hospital in King City does not have one hospitalized right now. But you see really that the Delta variant is affecting the unvaccinated folks, and that leads to hospitalizations. And when you look also at the numbers that the Monterey County Public Health Officer publishes almost daily on weekends, on weekdays, they don't publish on weekends right now, but if you look at those numbers that are daily published, you see that the number of infections is as high as anywhere between 60 to 140 per day. Yesterday we had 140. But what I encourage you to do also is to take a look at the data breakdown in the county of Monterey as well, and that's one of those other tables that they offer on their websites. And what you will see is that the numbers show new infection, but they also show recovered infection, the recovered patients. So yesterday, for instance, for the city of Monterey, you saw a real net decrease of -1. Why? We had people becoming new infected. You had more people who are counted as recovered from COVID-19. Nevertheless, these are just numbers, and the new infections are large proportions of that. But on the other hand, you will see numbers also that count the folks that are reinfected, that are recovered, not reinfected, recovered. So I encourage you to look at those 2 sets of data points. Why I am speaking about this? Well, yesterday the Board of Supervisors had a meeting, and they were discussing to implement a mandatory mask wearing for the whole county of Monterey, including the cities. What does this entail, the mandatory mask wearing? It means that should the Board of Supervisors approve that ordinance, and I understand they want to vote on that next week, Tuesday, that means that every business, every event inside will have mandatory mask wearing inside. That is what the Board of Supervisors discussed yesterday. Having said that, from the information that is available to me right now, which is basically just a very good summary by Pam Moreno in the MC Weekly, it appears, according to Pam, that Dr. Moreno was being asked by the Board of Supervisors, what do you think, what shall we do? And Dr. Moreno, as the public health official, was sharing with them his assessment of the COVID-19 data for Monterey County. And his assessment was basically bottom lining in stating that he thinks we do not, at the present time, need to require a mask mandate. Why am I again sharing all the data points with you? You see that there is a desire by the Board of Supervisors to implement this mask mandate countywide, and you see on the other hand also the person who has the power, also like the Board of Supervisors, to implement a mask mandate is saying, look, the data does not really tell me that this is a necessary step. And again, the recommendation that he made 3-4 weeks ago, when he recommended that businesses should require mask mandates inside, it was just a recommendation, not a mandatory order by him. He apparently stated that he thinks that this has made a difference as well and kept the infection numbers at the level that we have right now. So having said all that, we will see what the Board of Supervisors will create next week, Tuesday. Appears to me there will be a mandatory mask mandate coming from the Board of Supervisors. All the points that were shared in that MC Weekly column indicate that there is unanimous support on the side of the supervisors. And we will see what Dr. Moreno will state next week, Tuesday. In the end, the Board of Supervisors can mandate that, and then we, as the cities, will have to comply and, of course, again, be out there and trying to enforce the indoor mask mandate. Again, this is for indoor businesses, buildings as well. In the city of Monterey, we have instituted an indoor mask mandate for about 4 or 5 weeks now. Our employees are required to wear face coverings in surroundings when they work with others or when they interact with the public. We require also the public, when they come to us, to wear face masks. And we instituted this rule also this week, Monday, at the sports center. When we look at the sports center, for instance, we are looking also at what our other sports centers, sport gyms are doing, and we are trying to be again in the mainstream with what others are doing, particularly the Montage Health Wellness Center out in Marina, and I think they have also one in Salinas. None of those other gyms right now, to the best of my knowledge, are requiring face mask inside. We went ahead on Monday morning and implemented that after giving our customers, our patrons, ample notice. I think the ample notice was something like 5 to 7 days that this will happen. When we implement those things in more public buildings, sports center is one of them. It always becomes difficult sometimes when you have patrons, customers, residents, neighbors who really don't want to do it, who are disagreeing with staff. It's something that is difficult for our team to manage, and I really encourage everyone to just look out for each other, be respectful, and apply common sense and put your mask on when it is required. So these are my points that I wanted to share with you about the current numbers of COVID infections in the city of Monterey as well as in the county, and what is currently going on with the Board of Supervisors. We also in the city of Monterey, for our employees, mandated mandatory testing for unvaccinated employees, and also mandated vaccinations for all employees. What does it mean? Currently, we have about 86% of our employees vaccinated. That's 86% of all our active employees. We now came out with a vaccination and testing policy that will require that all employees are being vaccinated by November 1st. And until we reach November 1st, there are a few milestones. By next week, every single employees have to declare that they are either vaccinated or not vaccinated. If they have been not fully vaccinated, if they are part of those 14%, we require them to mandatory testing twice a week with a self-administered test that has to be done in front of a supervisor, or weekly with an approved PCR test that comes back negative. By 9:15, we will ask that everyone is at least partially or fully vaccinated. And then if they cannot be, and they have reasons for that are in the medical area or in the religiously exempt categories, we will discuss with the employees ways for accommodation. And that is what are some of the measures are that we will take between now and November 1st, that we will talk on an individual basis with all those employees who come to us and share with us why they cannot be vaccinated. So that is, in the big scheme of things, also very new territory for any city. We have been working on creating this testing and vaccination policy for quite some time. And we went public for that, and it affects all employees, part-timers, regular part-timers, full-time employees. It also affects all council members, boards and commissioners, anyone who is a regular within our city family. They have to be vaccinated. If not, we need to find a way how we can interactively connect and figure out possibly accommodation. So that's what's going on with the city of Monterey and our internal policies for our own employees. The next item I wanted to share with you is about our fiscal status in the city of Monterey. As I shared with you early on, next weekend is Labor Day, and tourism season starts or ends. Tourism season ends, and we have to ensure that our household or our finances are really on track where we think they should be. I can share with you that the July and August hotel tax data looks like we are completely on track. The August data is not in yet. Hotels have to remit the hotel tax for August by September 15. But we keep in weekly touch with the Monterey County Convention and Visitors Bureau, the MCCVB, and together with them we kind of track on a weekly basis hotel occupancy rates, etc. And we think August also will come in strong and will be where it has to be. Between July and August, we almost make about 45% of our hotel tax for the whole year. We saw this year during Car Week that the hotels were not as full as they could have been. There were still some vacancies in some hotels. We take this as part of that the international travelers were not in town. And when you watched the reporting from the TV stations here, you saw now and then somebody saying, I come from so-and-so, and it took me a while to get here when they came internationally. It was not like in previous years where people could just jet in and jet out again. And we saw that the occupancy rates were a little bit down from 2019 Car Week data, but the average daily rate, what the hotel charged, was significantly higher than 2019. So we feel we kind of compensated the lesser occupancy with the higher hotel rates, and with that we think we will have a good August. The MCCVB again is instrumental, helping us to track all those numbers, and then for us it's just one other data point to track and to see how we are doing. The sales tax numbers, you need to know, come in about 6 months to 9 months delayed to us. So we really don't know how that's doing, but we always, of course, see a correlation between the hotel tax and the sales tax. If the hotel tax is up, sales tax will be up as well. And just as a reminder to all of you out there who are curious about certain numbers, 62% of our sales tax, 62% of Monterey's sales tax is coming from non-residents. So when we use that phrase, always be aware that a non-resident is also a person from Pebble Beach who comes to the Del Monte Shopping Center, or it's also a person from Pacific Grove who goes to Macy's or Whole Foods. So the 62% non-resident generating sales tax for the city of Monterey contains that unknown known number of folks that come from surrounding communities and shop at certain facilities that they just do not have in their community. But we can confidently state that a big chunk of the 62% are really visitors coming from outside the county into the city and purchasing goods here and leaving money also in our restaurants. I want to talk about sales tax very briefly. There is an initiative coming forward now that basically tries to ensure that communities like ours will continue to receive their fair share from large online retailers, especially Amazon.com. Amazon.com has changed their business model last year in 2020. And as you know, there are probably close to 24 distribution centers now in the state of California. And if you purchase something and it comes out of a distribution center in California, let's say in Tracy or in Stockton or Merced or wherever those distribution centers are now, the community retains the sales tax. It does not flow back to the city of Monterey. And we are losing literally hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars there. 95% of communities in the state of California are losing money now because the Amazon business model now has Amazon purchasing all the materials, all the things that are being sold there in their local municipality and reselling it from them. So it's not just a transfer station anymore. They changed the business model. They acquire all the goods that are in the distribution centers. And then when you sell it from the distribution center to somebody in Monterey, the locality, the local city, the municipality in which the distribution center is will get the sales tax. So there is a concerted effort by the League of California Cities and the city of Rancho Cucamonga to create a movement across state to ensure that this will change and that actually sales tax gets attributed back to the individual cities. And we're supporting that. And I hope you get more information on that in the media and get smart on that, because frankly, losing that sales tax will have its effect on our ability to provide services again. And I think, frankly, that a sales tax generated in the city of Monterey through Amazon.com, and we deserve to get that money back. So we're working on that as well, supporting that strongly, and hopefully in the next year or so, our lawmakers, Assemblymember Stone, Senator Caballero, and Senator John Laird, they can help us to make this injustice just again. Fiscal update continuing, so we're on track with the hotel tax. We think we're on track with the sales tax. We are also on track with other fees. The sports center is doing okay with respect to people signing up again and visiting us and taking classes there. We look also very closely on a weekly basis at our parking numbers and parking data. And we really see a correlation there between things that have reopened. The Monterey Bay Aquarium really is helping us in the Monterey, in the Canary Row parking garage. We see those numbers being very strong again. And we see, of course, parking all across town. Where we really see losses or less numbers is in the two parking garages, the east and the west garage. And we see that those numbers over a period of 3-6 months really depend on the use of the conference center. If we have conferences in town and we have 700 to 1,000 attendees, a lot of folks sleep in other hotels, not just in the Marriott or the Portola Plaza or the Hotel Pacific, but also in other hotels. We call this the compression effect that basically helps to spread the economic driver from the conference center across many other hotels. And we see them park there. And we see those numbers, of course, in the conference center are lower right now. And again, we see that in the west and east parking garage. But overall, the parking numbers look very good. And we are hopeful, again, that we can make up some of the funds there that we dedicated last year to the economic stimulus program, where we just basically took 500,000, for instance, from the parking fund and gave it to a lot of small businesses who are not required to pay us back for that. We just wanted to sustain those small businesses in our town. So again, my fiscal update is so far so good. Again, we have to track the Delta variant, and we have to be conscientious of what's ahead of us, what will happen over the next couple of weeks. Cannabis, the council voted I think last week or 2 weeks ago, time flies when you have fun, the council voted to go to the next step. So now as staff, we are working on the ordinances, the amendments to our specific plans to allow up to 3 commercial cannabis retailers in our town. And those areas in which you will see or not see cannabis retailers are Old Town Monterey, that's basically downtown Monterey. You can see it on the Lighthouse, and you can see it in the Canary Row Business District. The ultimate decision of where to put cannabis retailers still has to be made by the council, and has to be made also based on our selection process and proposal to the council, which commercial cannabis retailer should get a spot here in the city of Monterey. We are working on all the details. What I'm telling you right now are just preliminary thoughts from our team. But we turned a corner 2 weeks ago, and a vote of 4-1. The council said, okay, go ahead with up to 1 to 3 commercial cannabis retailers to be determined in what areas. And so that's what we are doing right now. This is a process. It is a very time-consuming process, because the cannabis retail organizations are, of course, very, very smart about this process, having done this in multiple cities. And of course, we need to create a process also that is fair and equitable for all. And we are working on that in collaboration with a variety of city departments, but also we will ask for some outside help to give us advice and what is the best way of going forward. Meanwhile, City of Marina will be opening 3 commercial cannabis retailers in the next couple of weeks. I think they just opened a week ago. an operation. Seaside has, I believe, at least 3. So the supply is definitely there, and what we hope to accomplish is that our location, Monterey, will really make a difference for some of those operators here, because if you're in Monterey, you don't need to drive to Seaside. If you live in Monterey, you can purchase it now in Monterey, hopefully one day, pending council approval. Talking about Monterey, census data 2020 is published for the city. Our city grew. The census 2020 makes us a town of 30,218 residents, I believe. So the trend between 2010 census was that the town was shrinking, was getting a little bit smaller, but we have increased from 28,000 plus to now 30,000 plus. So we will conduct some analysis of that over the next couple of years, a couple of weeks, and of course share that with the council also. What are the detailed informational points? Aside from the 30,218 number, there's not a lot yet out there. The census group is releasing the data in increments, and there will be new data dumps coming sooner or later, and then we know also more about the distribution of demographics here in town. Until then, we have that number, and then we can look and play with the data a little bit and see where the different data points might have changed. But I wanted to share that number with you. 30,218 will be now the number that we will put on our city entry signs. I want to share with you that our firefighters, I believe right now, 13 of those are at the Dixie Fire and the Calden Fire and another fire. They work in various functions. We have folks really out there on the fire lines, meaning with fire engines, being in the midst of firefighting. We also have folks out there working as a line paramedic. We have somebody working as a fire safety officer. So keep those guys in your thoughts. After a maximum, I believe, of 21 days, they get relieved, and we're sending a new group of folks out there. We are in this firefight now since, I believe, mid-June, constantly having firefighters out there and helping the state in the various areas. Climate change is real, wildfires are real. You see this also in Louisiana right now, where you track hurricanes, and where you also see that now Category 4 hurricanes are a seasonal occurrence. They happen every single year now, and it's really something that should us be all very much concerned, and we should really continue as a city to also do the right things with respect to climate action and climate change. And we have a few of those initiatives on our work programs, and we will continue to push them out and share with you also when we get to those small steps. But every little small step is helping overall the big picture as well. So we'll continue monitoring that. Firefighters right now are out there in the middle of that. I want to share with you that our website update has been completed. I shared with you a couple of weeks ago that we are doing that. I shared with you that you might get some 404 errors when you Google certain things, because it takes a while until the large search engines, Google, Bing, whatever else is out there, are actually indexing our news pages again. That has mostly happened, and it should be. You should check out our websites. They look different, but they are also, I think, very nicely updated. They also have now better, or again, strong ADA features. So check out those buttons as well to see how we are trying to have those pages also always ADA compliant. Last but not least, we have a parking survey out where we ask you, the residents, to let us know about certain parking enforcement issues and parking opportunities. I really ask you to help us fill out that survey. I'm not only a city manager, I'm also a resident, and I filled it out the other night at home, and it takes about 15 minutes or so, but it's important for us to hear back from you and learn how you feel about parking in the city of Monterey. And from time to time, of course, we hear about conflict that is happening, and in neighborhoods, some neighbors like to have parking enforcement there. Some other neighbors say, no, we don't want that. We need to hear more from you in order to really have a program, put a program together that considers all voices. So again, I encourage you to check out parking surveys. Our daily emails that we are sending out contain those links. They will contain also a link to my video update here. So for those of you who really enjoyed it, you can put it on a repeat loop and watch it 24/7, or binge watch it with your entire family during the opportunity given to you through the 3-day weekend on Labor Day. With that, I hope you have a nice day. Let me know if you have any concerns, if you have any suggestions, or if you just want to let us know how we're doing. Just shoot me an email as well. I appreciate all what you're doing for us. It's a great community, and we really appreciate our residents and the support that you have given us over the years, and we continue to work in partnership with all of you. Have a great day, and see you probably in 3 weeks again. Bye-bye.